JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, Council proposes committee to investigate drug abuse by St. Elizabeth students. There is a suggestion for the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation to establish a school safety and security committee to investigate the abuse of drugs by students and violence in schools. It has come from Christopher Williams, councillor for the Santa Cruz Division, following revelation by the police that children are visiting a coke base in Santa Cruz. Addressing students and parents in a drug awareness seminar in St. Elizabeth, Corporal Nicola Allen Gale highlighted the wanton abuse of drugs and alcohol by students and the resultant negative behaviors at schools. Corporal Allen Gale, who is head of the operational support team at Santa Cruz Police Station, also indicated that schools wanting to maintain an image were not willing to speak about the issues. Williams told the recent meeting of the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation that with schools being tight-lipped on the illegal activities of students, the Safety and Security Committee will be able to investigate and help to set goals. He said the committee will be led by the Municipal Corporation and involve members of the police force, principals of all high schools in the parish, and Parent Teachers Association representatives. We could meet monthly if my fellow councillors are in agreement with that. But the reality is, if we are concerned, if we care about our children and what is happening to them, we need to take certain steps and actions, Williams suggested. Investigations have confirmed the use of hard drugs in the Santa Cruz area, with the presence of at least one heavily guarded coke base. Several raids have been conducted on the base, however, each time the base is destroyed, it is re-established. 7 people shot, 1 fatally in Brownstone, St. Anne. 7 people were shot, 1 fatally in Orange Hill, Brownstone in St. Anne on Wednesday. The deceased has not yet been identified. It is reported that the group of people were shot by a man shortly after 12 p.m. They were taken to hospital where 1 died and the others were admitted. The injured people are said to be in serious but stable condition. In the meantime, the police have reported that 1 man is in police custody who they believed is linked to the shooting. It was picked up around 1:45 p.m. when the police intercepted a vehicle with 3 other men aboard. The other men escaped on foot, the police said. Second person dies following arson attack in St. Mary. Another person has died from Tuesday morning's arson attack on a family in Dean Pen, Highgate, St. Mary. Rose Beecher, 38, who received extensive burns, died in hospital about 9:15 Tuesday night. The remains of Beecher's 4-year-old daughter, Farrah Cohen, were found inside the burnt-out dwelling. The police say 3 other people are in hospital. 1 person is in custody in connection with the incident. It's reported that about 3:30, the family of 7 was asleep in their 3-bedroom board structure when they were woken by a loud explosion, followed by the smell of gasoline. They ran from the house after realizing it was ablaze, but the child was left inside. An attempt was made to rescue the child. However, the extent of the blaze prevented anyone from entering the house. The child's remains were later seen on a burnt-out mattress. Beecher and the 3 other relatives were taken to hospital, where she later died. Farmer shot dead in Westmoreland. A farmer was shot dead after visiting his father on Salmon Street in Grangeville, Westmoreland on Tuesday night. The deceased has been identified as 35-year-old Adrian Brown, otherwise called Ansman, of a crowded district, Grangeville address in the parish. The incident happened about 8:20 p.m. Reports from the police are that Brown had just finished attending to his cows and went to visit his father. Brown then left for his home, and shortly after, several loud explosions were heard. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, Brown was seen lying in a pool of blood with what appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds to his head and upper body. He was transported by the police to the Savlamar Public General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. Taxi operator shot dead in St. Anne. A taxi operator was shot and killed in Exchange, Ocheris in St. Anne on Tuesday night. The deceased has been identified as 25-year-old Bernard Smith, also known as Parks, who is of an Exchange address. Reports are that, sometime after 9 p.m., Smith was at a bar in the area when armed men emerged from a vehicle and opened fire, hitting him. He was subsequently rushed to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The St. Anne police are investigating. St. James construction worker shot dead. A 44-year-old construction worker was shot and killed on Coke Road in Glendavon, St. James, on Tuesday morning. He has been identified as Ron James, otherwise called Rani, of the Coke Road community. Reports by the Montego Hills Police are that about 7:45 p.m., James was on his way to work when he was approached by two alleged gunmen. The men reportedly chased James into a yard where they shot him over a dozen times before escaping on foot. The police were summoned and James was transported to the Cornwall Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Body of unidentified man found in Montego Bay. The body of an unidentified man was found Tuesday morning along Old Fort Road in Montego Bay. Passers-by stumbled upon the body, which had bullet wounds, about 6 o'clock. It was clad in a blonde wig, blue t-shirt, denim pants, a pair of multicolored socks, and black and red slippers. Investigations are ongoing. Police charge man captured on video punching Ascot High student. The police have charged a 38-year-old man who was seen in a video allegedly physically assaulting a female student of Ascot High School in Portmore, St. Catherine earlier this month. Acting commander of the St. Catherine South Police, Superintendent Upton Nicholson, said the man turned himself over to the police on Tuesday. He was questioned and later charged with assault occasioning bodily harm. Nicholson says the man was granted bail and has been scheduled to appear in the St. Catherine Parish Court in the first week of November. The police declined to give the man's name, saying threats have been made against his life. A widely circulated video of the altercation shows a 13-year-old student being accosted by a woman while a group of students looked on. The student was subsequently punched in the face by a man, causing her to fall to the ground. According to reports, the clash arose from an unsettled dispute between two students, which was seemingly not satisfactorily addressed by school administrators. Arrest of foreigners at Sanctuary Airport with single bullet needs scrutiny, says lawyer. King's Counsel Peter Champagny says the frequency with which foreigners are held at the Sanctuary International Airport in St. James with possession of a single round of ammunition needs to be scrutinized. He made the assertion while making a mitigation plea last week for his client, Lynn McGovern, 61, an American lawyer who was found guilty in the St. James Parish Court of illegal possession of one round of ammunition. Parish Judge Sasha Marie Ashley imposed a fine of $60,000 or 30 days imprisonment. Champagny said the court's finding must be respected, but he had to question the frequency of similar incidents at the airport in Montego Bay, the capital of the Western Parish. McGovern had visited the island for a few days before her planned departure on October 31, 2021. While going through the security checkpoint, it was discovered she had a round of ammunition in her handbag. She did not have a permit for it and could not give any explanation as to how it got into her possession. The woman was arrested and charged. The lawyer insisted she was innocent and wanted to contest the allegations. She was granted bail and given permission to travel to her home in Chicago. She returned to Jamaica on 4 occasions until the case was tried last week. During the trial, while being unable to account for how the ammunition got into her handbag, she insisted she was not guilty. The woman said she was not a firearm holder and have never violated any laws in her life. Champagny asked the court to take into account his client's unblemished record and the fact that notwithstanding the strong possibility of her not being imprisoned, she returned to the island at great expense to contest the trial. He submitted further that her conduct was inconsistent with guilt. However, the judge, in finding her guilty, noted that there was no dispute of the fact that she was in physical possession of the ammunition. Champagny pointed out that there have been at least 2 recent instances in which similar situations had arisen where foreigners departing the island were found in possession of a single round of ammunition. He said between July to August this year alone, 2 Americans were allegedly found with ammunition whilst leaving from the Sanctuary International Airport. He said in those cases, accused persons pleaded guilty, which he said may have been out of expediency, given that invariably such offences ordinarily attract a minimal fine. Champagny argued that the Norman Mann International Airport in Kingston seemed not to have had a similar experience with outgoing passengers. The senior lawyer declined to go into details about the case when contacted. He is urging the relevant oversight bodies to place greater scrutiny over the cases emerging from the Sanctuary International Airport. Jamaican scholar featured on Times Square billboard. Jamaican-born Victoria Orne was recently featured in Times Square on the Morgan Stanley billboard after becoming one of the 2022 Capstone Project winners in the Morgan Stanley Jumpstart Lead program. The Jamaican placed first in the Team Capstone project after being tasked with choosing a set of DI firms to act as passive book runners and co-managers for Amazon's $18.5 billion investment-grade debt offering. Orne, daughter of Norman Orne, chairman of ARC Manufacturing Limited, grew up in Mandeville, Jamaica, and migrated when she was 10 to New York. The younger Orne was quick to laud her father for his guidance and support. My father gave me very valuable insight as a businessman who owns a manufacturing company. He told me to focus on managing my P&L, to always have an edge and to never give up, said Orne. Through his never-ending support, I was able to build the resilience that I have today, added the scholar. My father is one of my biggest supporters and has been there encouraging me since the very beginning. Without him, none of this would have been possible. The Morgan Stanley Jumpstart Lead Program is a high school scholar 5-month-long learning program in the United States where scholars can broaden their understanding of finance, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, wealth building, global debt markets, mergers and acquisitions, career development, and leadership skills. The 17-year-old was elated that she managed to win such a competition and describes the feeling as surreal when she saw herself on display in Times Square. It felt like a once-in-a-lifetime experience because I never thought I'd see myself on a billboard in Times Square. My mom started screaming and I was just smiling. We were all just happy, she said. Orne was also grateful for the experience as it taught her multiple life lessons and the opportunity led her to choosing her career path. The experience introduced me to a sense of teamwork that I actually never had before. I really liked the way we were collaborating on what we were doing, and that's actually the reason why I wanted to become an investment banker, she said. She also credited resilience for her recent success, as she was denied entry to multiple programs. Throughout high school, I applied to many competitive programs in finance, computer science, and real estate. It was very difficult. I was a freshman with no previous internship experience. However, as time went on, I was able to build my resume and secure my acceptance and thrive in the programs I've completed today. Even though I got rejected from a lot of different programs, I didn't let it tear me down and I kept on trying, said Orne. My message to high schoolers and teenagers is to keep on trying as resilience is one of the greatest qualities you can have, she added. Orne knows her sights on obtaining an internship at Morgan Stanley and currently applying for other programs. In sports news, 4-wicket Joseph helps West Indies topple Zimbabwe at T20 World Cup. A fiery 4-wicket spell from pace bowler Alzarri Joseph helped the two-time champion West Indies storm past Zimbabwe by 31 runs to keep their T20 World Cup dreams alive on Wednesday. After being shocked by Scotland in their opening match on Monday, they had no margin for error if they wanted to stay in the hunt for a place in the Super 12 stage. They accomplished the feat with 10 balls to spare, dismissing Zimbabwe for 122 after setting them 154 to win. The dangerous Joseph was instrumental, taking 4 for 16, while Jason Holder chipped in with 3 for 12. The victory means they meet Ireland on Friday with the winner going through to the next round when the big guns join the tournament, while Zimbabwe face Scotland in a winner-takes-all tie. Skipper Nicholas Bourne won the toss and opted to bat against the Zimbabwe side without captain Craig Irvine, who suffered a mild asthma attack before the game. They were aggressive early on but paid the price with Kyle Myers, 13. Johnson Charles found his groove and unleashed in the 9th over, hitting a 6, a 4 and a 4 off Ryan Burrell to get the scoreboard moving before Evan Lewis missed time but heaved on the ground of Sikandar Raza and was caught. Bourne fell for 7, and when Charles was comically run out for 45 in a mix-up with Rovman Powell, the West Indies were reeling. Zimbabwe kept the pressure on. Raza trapped Shamar Brooks' leg before wicket, and then caught and bowled over the West Indies, losing 4 wickets for 11 runs in 12 balls to leave them on 101 for 6. Powell, 28, and Akil Hossain, 23 not out, steadied the ship and threw the bat in a late flourish to ensure they set a competitive target. In reply, Zimbabwe slammed 18 in a nightmare first over off Mayers. On the 3rd, the Caribbean side made a breakthrough in the 3rd over when Regis Chakabava dragged the ball onto his stumps of Joseph. Joseph took his second with a lightning delivery to remove Tony Moneyanga, and Sean Williams fell 2 balls later as the pressure began building for Zimbabwe. All-rounder Russell slammed 82 or 48 balls in Zimbabwe's first match on Monday, but he was out for 14, and when Joseph came back in the attack, he shot at the stumps of Richard Nagavra and Luke Jongwe to end any hope they had. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.